That's right, folks, we finally have Sony showing something. Behold, the PS5's final controller design. Let's talk about it. Before we get started, just want to remind you, don't forget to leave your thoughts on the controller for us to chat about in this community together. That's why I upload these videos, because I love to see everybody interact, including me with you. So leave a comment on what you think of this controller. And right off the bat, looking at this thing, a couple things come to mind. The first big thing about the PlayStation 5 controller is that it looks like it is the love child of a PS4 and Xbox One S controller. Between its color scheme and its thickness, oh boy, that thickness though. This thing just looks like a perfect blend of the two, truly, and that's not a bad thing. I think that's great because the Xbox One S controller, in my opinion, I've always preferred a thicker controller. I know there's a lot of people that like the skinnier kind, but I always like the thicker kind so it fills my hands easier, and I like that Sony is doing that. Another thing that really pops out is the controller scheme is much wider than the PlayStation's usual, very iconic black branding ever since the PS2. Ever since the PS2, PlayStation has always been about their black branding for all their controllers. They have different controllers come out, don't get me wrong, but it's usually just always at launch, especially at launch, just the iconic black. So it's really interesting to see them go in a different direction with this, with a ton more white, you know, kind of half the controller. It's divided, as they say in the blog post, which, by the way, I'll link the blog post to much more elaborate, you know, official posting of this in the description, so check that out. But a big loss, in my opinion, that's really like, it's a big deal, is the loss of colors on the shape buttons, you know, the triangle, square, X, and all that stuff. That has been the iconic colors of the PlayStation controller. That's part of their brand that they'll throw out every now and then, but now they really are just going with this all white scheme, and I can respect that, but it's just a really bold move because, you know, those buttons have always been the same colors ever since the first console, so it's just a really interesting move. That's probably like the biggest in terms of just the look of this thing that I'm like, whoa. I can't help but wonder if the console is gonna really complement the design of this controller, where, you know, the past 3 consoles have been very black at the start, but maybe this will be one that has a lot more white in it, or maybe blue, I don't know. They also talk about a few features that we've heard about, like the L2 and R2 triggers having much more adaptive things about them to like have tension for if you pull a bow, the triggers will help you feel that, and if you're driving your car through mud, then you'll kind of feel that, and it sounds really cool. It reminds me of the Nintendo's Joy-Con controllers, you know, how they have the HD rumble. So really, if you think about it, this is a love child of all 3 of the current gen controllers. What I didn't know about though is that this controller is gonna have a built-in mic to chat without a headset. They still encourage you, you know, if you intend to chat for a longer period of time, then make sure you use a headset, but they're saying no, you know, players will be able to chat just with the controller, and that sounds really interesting to me. I don't know, I can't picture that. I'm curious, like, what does the mic sound like, and will the speakers have the chat come out through the speakers? I think so, but I don't know. This is the only piece of news I didn't know about. Maybe it is old news that I just wasn't aware of. And overall, I'm pretty happy in terms of like the actual feeling and design of this controller. The biggest things that stand out to me is just how the branding is really being changed in this. They're very iconic branding that PlayStation has had the past few consoles that they've done. So I'm really curious, you know, do you think the actual console, when that comes out, if they're gonna change it as well to resemble this controller? I don't know, I'm just really curious, especially those buttons, man. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. And of course, if you want more content in this next gen console year, that will hopefully still happen with everything going on, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more news and discussions on that. So don't forget to be geek, be proud, be awesome.